So I'm just going to go ahead and apply the primer to the right side of my face, and then I'm going to leave the left side of my face primer free and apply the foundation the same on both sides. So I've got a nice like pea-sized glob. I'm going to separate my bangs here and get to applying, and I'm only going to apply to this side of my face. For a silicone primer, it really it has that silky feel of a silicone primer, but it doesn't feel, you know, when you have a silicone primer, like the Smashbox one is in particular, they really feel like thick and silicone-y. I'm not a big fan of them. This, it has the kind of smoothness that you feel, but it's not the same. It doesn't have that super slick, very, trying to think of the word. It doesn't have that super slick, almost like oily feeling sometimes that silicone primers can get. It feels to me like a good mix between like a Smashbox primer and like the Hourglass primer. And it has dried very quickly. That's it. Just applied to this side of my face. I'm going to go ahead and apply my foundation. So the foundation that I'm using for this test is the MatchCo foundation, and I'm using it because, first of all, it's a perfect shade match, which is something that I really appreciate. But I'm also using it because it's a very good like all-rounder foundation. I don't want to say it's like your standard foundation because it's not necessarily for everyone, but it's a good one to test to see if it's going to last longer on this side of my face than on this side of my face that doesn't have the primer. And I am just bopping this in with the Real Techniques Diamond Sponge because I like to feel fancy. And that is foundation applied. I'm going to zoom you in so you can see like up close the differences. I actually think this side with the primer on looks a little bit more dewy than this side without the primer, which was really surprising for me. Did not expect that whatsoever. But besides that tiny little bit of extra shine, especially like right on my like cheekbone and by the sides of my nose where I am actually a little bit oilier naturally, it looks pretty much the same on both sides. Foundation has set the same. It looks the same. My skin pretty much looks the same on both sides too. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. Alright, so makeup is all done. I did film this look, so it took me like 45 minutes or so. And you know, the foundation is looking pretty much the same on both sides of my face. So I'm very intrigued to see how much of a difference it's actually going to make with the primer on this side and no primer on this side. It is currently 11:20 a.m. and I will check in with you guys later. Alright, so checking back in, it is close to the end of the day. It's to the point where I want to take my makeup off. It is 7:39 p.m. and I am like so done. I've been like itching to take my makeup off all day, so I'm finally going to take it off. And I'm going to just zoom you in real quick so you can see the difference between the both sides of my face. So you can see this is the side that doesn't have any primer, and you can see how patchy it got, especially right here. And I guess this is kind of a problem area for me, which I didn't really know. You can see a tiny bit of patchiness here, but it's not nearly as bad as it is here. It also is basically like non-existent on the side of my nose on this side. And well, it's kind of the same on the sides of my nose. And that's a good 8 hours of wear. On my forehead, you really can't see any difference until you get to the temple, where you can definitely see some patchiness here, where you don't see so much on this side. So the main difference is definitely on the sides of this cheek is way patchy and doesn't look super great, and this side looks significantly better. So as you know, the primer is on this side of my face, there's no primer on this side of my face, and you can see the difference when you get really up close. It's kind of hard to tell from far away, but when you get closer, it's pretty obvious. So I'm really happy with how this primer turned out. I think that it works pretty darn well. My makeup is still really adhered to my face. I'm having like a pretty dry day today. Usually I'm much more oily, but my skin is like really dry, and I didn't powder, I didn't blot, I didn't do anything whole day, and it's like oiliness levels, I can feel it more on this side, but is really not significant, and you really can't see much of a shininess difference. And that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!